Imagine your life finally becoming all you dreamed it to be and more, reaching all of your goals and aspirations to a level that you've never expected. And you did all of this by using optimism to fight your fears and to live to your highest potential. So I can say that I personally experienced optimism with years of going through fertility issues with my husband. And these issues were crushing my dreams of being a mother. So I had to fight back, and the best way I knew how was to use optimism as my weapon. So today, I will try to persuade you that optimism will improve the quality of your life and as a student and a human being. So the points I'm going to cover today in the discussion are, first of all, what optimism really means, why you need optimism to improve your life, and how you can become optimistic for a better quality of life. So let's start with the meaning of optimism. So optimism is the hopefulness and confidence about your future. So point blank, when it's applied, you can improve the quality of your life. So I believe that optimism is a key to a happy life. And I know this because I would go through multiple failures with the fertility, and I decided that I couldn't give up, and then I had to push towards victory. I also believe that optimism can improve the outcome of a situation. I decided to be optimistic, which ultimately led me to be pregnant. So here I am. And now you kind of understand what optimism is and where I believe that it led me and why it's important. So I feel like, why is it important? I feel like it's important because you need it to get through hurdles and the failures and disappointment in your life. I really believe that. There's a 2015 article in Entrepreneur Magazine, and it's called The 5 Benefits of Being Optimistic, by Zach Cutler. And I definitely followed this when I was going through a lot of the turmoil with the fertility. So I would say that every time I got negative news, I would have to see failure as a new start. So I would imagine succeeding, like what succeeding would look like, feel like, where I would be. And I also had to become expansive in my ideas. And what I mean by that is I had to look for new doctors that maybe did things a different way, thought outside of the box, because what was happening wasn't working. So it was also very important to me to continue to maintain a healthy mind and body. In this article that in Entrepreneur Magazine, it said that 76% of ideal health scores are people that are being optimistic. They have high health scores, and so that includes blood sugar, cholesterol, body mass index. So this was super important for me to continue to follow. And also spreading optimism to others. So, I tried to stay upbeat instead of wallowing in my sorrow. I feel like this definitely, in turn, brought me positive feedback from others and just positive reinforcement, as opposed to scaring them off. They actually wanted to be around me. So another thing is it helped me to achieve movement and growth. And what I mean by that is, I had to learn from my mistakes and move on. That was huge. I had to move on to take it to the next step. So, I can attest to all of the methods that I've discussed because they've been proven successful for me. So now let's talk about how you can incorporate optimism into your life, in your situation. So there's a few ways that have been proven to be successful. And another article that I followed at some of my lowest points was this 2012 article in Forbes magazine. And basically it explained how, optimism can lead to a positive outcome. And the first thing really was to reframe the situation. And so with that, I had to develop positive ways to explain the situation. Everything doesn't always go right. So I had to say to myself, okay, this was not the time. It was not meant to happen right now. but it will happen, when it's meant to be. So saying positive things like that was huge. And I definitely had to gain control of the situation. So what I mean by that is I had to immediately search for all possible solutions. IVF is not the only way to have children. You can adopt, and there's many other options that you have. So I had to, look at those options to give me hope. And, but at the same time, I had to be realistic about my goals. I think that this causes less disappointment when failures do come, because there will be successes, but there will also be failures again and again. So I had to be realistic about my goals, and by that I mean acknowledging the hurdles that may come. Okay, budget. IVF is very expensive, as adoption is as well. So, and my age. I was over 35, and this is something to think about. So, and lastly, speaking positive thoughts. Positive thoughts, I think, listen, you can't control the thoughts that come into your mind. That's impossible. But what you can do is only speak the positive ones. I do believe in thoughts, coming into fruition. So I think it's very important to only speak the positive ones, and, you'll never stop anything from happening, coming into your mind. So anyway, in closing, listen, I know it's hard to imagine optimism, something small like optimism, changing your life. I mean, I get it. But studies and personal experience of mine have showed basically positive outlook equals positive outcome. It's that simple. And, today we've looked at the meaning of optimism, why you need optimism, and why you need to practice it, and basically how you can incorporate it into your life. In your situation. So let's just leave pessimism behind. Dwight D. Eisenhower once said, pessimism never won any battles. I love that. And so why not try optimism? See where it leads you. And you have nothing to lose. So I do believe that having a vision will affect your attitude. And you'll have no choice but to be optimistic about exciting possibilities that your future may hold. So I'm going to leave you with one last quote, and it's by American author Dr. Seuss, whom you may all know, and it's, "Don't cry because it's over. Smile because it happened."